Hi, I'm here this afternoon with Joanne, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about her business and how she manages her work-life balance. Hi Joanne.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. So tell us a little bit about you and your background.
So my background's been in childcare. So
Okay.
I was a nursery nurse for many years, working in many different settings. But the last big job I had before my daughter came along was as deputy manager of a children's centre. And what I used to do was I was outreach coordinator. So I used to coordinate all the groups, organise all the groups, and work with families who needed extra support in running their homes, their finances, getting organised.
Yeah.
Often young mums, people who just needed a bit of extra help, a bit of nurture, and that's what I used to do. And then was on my own journey and doing things, you know, after that, and I did some nannying and things like that. But yeah, so.
And then your daughter came along, and
Yes.
you went for a complete career change, didn't you? Which we quite often do.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I'd always wanted to be an organiser. I love doing it. And I remember when I lived down in London getting a leaflet through the door one day, and I was like, oh my God, this is a job. This is what people do from this flyer. And I think I contacted that woman to see if they employed anybody, but notoriously people tend to work, you know, on their own quite a lot. So I kind of just put it to the back of my mind, carried on with life like you do, you know, you worry about the money and all those things. And then after Maggie arrived, you know, I took a year out with her, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And was trying to decide what to do, and I just thought it's now or never, I'll give it a go. And while I was on that journey thinking about starting this, I found APDO, which is the Association of Organisers and Declutterers.
Okay.
So that was amazing to find that, and that's been a big building and stepping stone in me building my business.
Yeah.
It means I've got the support, we have some standards and guidance to work to.
So was it literally, did you know straight away that was the exact business model that you wanted to go for, or was you kind of toying with other ideas? And
I did toy with other ideas. So at the time I was looking for something to do that I could balance around family life. I wanted, you know, waiting till I was 40 to become a mum. I wanted to drop my daughter off and pick my daughter up as much as I could.
I can completely relate
You
to
know,
that.
and spend as much time as I could with her. You know, these years are so precious, these early years. So I really wanted to try and get that balance. So I did think about setting up something like a cleaning company where I overseen people going out to do the cleaning and got a load of bank of cleaners that worked for me and things like that. But I realised that I'm brilliant at organising, cleaning, tidying, sorting, but you know, I didn't know if I had the business head, because that's suddenly a whole different business thing. So I felt like I'd be stepping into very much an unknown. So kind of going back and forth, looking at different options, I decided to go ahead with what is now Systematic Homes, but it did have a different name to start with.
Okay. So where did Systematic Homes come from? How did you think of that?
So basically, I talked to a friend of mine and we discussed maybe doing something together, but she wasn't in a position to be able to do that, and I was a bit nervous doing it on my own. Although I'm delighted.
It's a big step. It really is.
But I'm delighted I did it now. And we had the idea of something like Heavenly Homes.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine said, oh, it sounds like a funeral parlour. And I was like, oh gosh, I never thought of that. And it was actually my friend Christina who came up with the name Systematic Homes. So she went away and I went away and we wrote down all these names, and as soon as she said it, it felt like it really resonated to me, and I think it's a brilliant name. You know, so it's Systematic Homes, because actually, as a personal organiser, you know, there's so much more to going into someone's home and helping them get it back than you even realise when than I even realised when I started it.
I can imagine.
So
fabulous. So tell me a little bit about kind of what the business involves now, what you go out and what you do.
So there's many strands to my business now. So, you know, my favourite kind of things to do are going into busy family homes and helping them get tidied, get organised, get rid of the stuff they no longer need, you know.
Sometimes you do need somebody to tell you to do that.
Well, it's not just that, it can be quite hard to let go of some stuff for whatever reason, or to even have the time to do it. And if you don't dedicate enough time to it, you know, it is going to be really difficult to do. So I kind of, that's one of my main things, and that seems to be the area that I seem to get a lot of calls about. But then I also support people who are trying to sell their homes. I help them get their house
That's
ready.
becoming quite popular now, isn't it? I think that maybe thanks to some of these TV programmes, that very thing. So that's great.
And it's definitely about, you know, in a busy, thriving market, you know, you want your house to be top of the game.
Yeah.
So actually having that stuff that you know you don't need there first gone, that stuff that you might like but might just close in the space, it just gives people a better view of what your house could look like, the lifestyle they could live there, and that's kind of what you're trying to sell on. You know, and I'm not talking about big decorating changes, I'm talking about just presenting it in such a way that people get the idea.
So just giving the right visual effect.
And then I also help them during the move, so it might be packing up, unpacking, organising the house when they get there. I've done a few big moves. You know, so there's many different things like that.
Yeah, lots that I didn't realise.
Yeah, and it is, you know, and often when I go and work with a family or with a client, I can spend sometimes 4 to 6 sessions where I might go once a week or once a month.
Yeah.
You know, I'll leave them little to-dos and they'll do things.
I was going to say, so do you more often kind of go in and do the actual things yourself,
we do.
or is it more you teaching them, or a bit of both?
So it's a bit of both, but for the best outcome,
Yeah.
by far, is if myself and my client work together.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of girls that help me on some jobs and have done some on their own now because they've been doing some training, which is lovely. So, you know, kind of is one of us that goes in, and the best outcome is if we work together with the client and we get to the end, because if you've invested in that, you have ownership of that, there's a better outcome.
And they're more likely to keep up with it, aren't they?
And then as well, you're teaching those skills of where to put things, where to do things, and thinking outside of different systems. And often so I might be with a client, say on a Friday, and I've got another one booked in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
When I go back in 2 weeks, I go, look, I got those baskets like you recommended for this store, and I did this store while you were gone, because suddenly they know how to do it.
Yeah.
So more gets done.
Ideas. Yeah, that's great.
So no, it's really good. But a lot of it too is, you know, I had an email from a client this morning going, oh, I just wanted to thank you. I didn't realise when I brought you in to declutter with me that it would be such an emotional journey, but I just feel like I'm so much better. She said, you're so brilliant at listening. Because, you know, I'm not a counsellor, I haven't got skills in that. But just somebody sometimes listening as you're working.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of us do, you know, link our emotions to things, don't they, around home, and that's why some of it is quite difficult to declutter.
Yeah.
I have to say, with some of the clients I work with on kind of a coaching basis, and we talk about, I love being planned, I love making lists, I love being organised, and sometimes just by them applying that around their home as well, completely changes their mindset. So, you know, I think it's a fabulous thing. So what does a typical week look like for you? How do you kind of manage everything?
I mean, I don't have a typical week. My weeks are very different. I suppose my biggest routine is during term time. It's get up, get Maggie ready, get her off to nursery, school in September. I know.
I'd like to tell you it's easy, but it's not.
She did very well through transition week.
The kids are fine, it's us parents that are not.
But yeah, so, you know, it's, you know, so that's kind of my routine. What I like, I find my weeks always run better. So if on a Monday I start with not physically working. So if I have that Monday so I have 2 accountability buddies. So at 9:15 every Monday we Skype.
Okay.
And
is this part of through the group?
No, this is through my Women in Business.
Okay.
So I'm a member of Women in Hitchin. So this is through them, and 3 of us get on every Monday 9:15. We write our aims and our goals for the week ahead. We share any highlights, like, you know, you get 5 minutes each. You know, it's a quick thing, and I love that. It starts with my boost to my week. And then if I can, I like to get in a PT session. So I do PT with Alice just around the corner here. So I like to get that in on a Monday because it seems to just start me off. And then I like to go through my emails, plan my week, do all of that, and then the rest of the week will vary depending on what clients been in touch. You know, so I have some regular clients. I have people that I visit once a month.
Okay. So what sort of things would you do with your regular clients for you to go back with? Is it just kind of keeping on top of everything?
It's keeping on top of everything. So for some clients it might be that physically they need support. You know, for some it might be that life is just really busy. For some they're not particularly well, whether it be you know, emotionally or physically, but they just need that kind of extra help. You know, and it's about going in, supporting them. I do many different things. You know, it's an ongoing journey around around keeping on top of things and getting on top of things. For some, it's just that they need somebody to come in and help them stay motivated. You know, life is so busy, and they know if they don't dedicate that time, that it doesn't.
Yeah, and you can't, you know, possibly juggle all the balls. Something always has to give. And you know, if that's the area that is lacking, and you're coming in and keeping them motivated, then that's great. Isn't it?
And some people it's every 2 months. Some people get me in before Christmas and before the summer holidays. You know, so there's different amounts. Some people I go and work with for, you know, a 6-week period, maybe once a week, and that's it. They're off on their journey. I mean, I always like to be able to leave them with tools to continue themselves if they can. But I also say to them, if you're struggling with anything, jump back on. It's a bit like, you know, if you went to a PT instructor, it's a bit the same, isn't it? You know, you learn the skills, you learn the knowledge, you do it, you go away, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you have a slip, you get back in and get some help.
Reminder. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know, and I do like, you know, I always say to them the important thing is being organised. So your lists, know what you've got. I get my stuff ready the night before so that my head's clear. You know, in our house, the morning routine is I have a morning cupboard with all the vitamins we take, with the sandwich stuff in there and all of those things in there. And that's where I go to, I put the kettle on, I go there and I make the sandwiches, we take our vitamins.
Having it all just in one place.
And it's all in one place. And it's just, it's my morning cupboard, and I love my morning cupboard. And I do all of that before I even sit down and have my coffee. So that, you know, while the kettle's boiling, we've taken our vitamins, we've taken any medicines that we might need to take. I've made the lunch box, that's put into the fridge just ready to grab, and that's it. And then I sit down and I can have my coffee. And I try and say to people, you know, plan a routine. That's what works for me. So I always say to people, try and plan a routine that works for you. Think about it, you know, I can help them do that, you know, time management, you know, those kind of things. So my weeks vary so much. You know, at my busier times, if I'm out physically decluttering in 3 or 4 days, you know, that's when social media drops off and all those things, you know, I try and put before and after pictures on. But that's kind of it. But yeah, you know, I do one-to-ones, I go and visit other clients, you know, my dad, who's in the 80s, moved to Hitchens, so I pick him up every Wednesday from Waitrose. I bring him home and I help him with a few bits and unpack his shopping, so that's his heavy shopping day. You know, so my week very much varies.
Changes, absolutely.
You know, because there is no typical week.
Do you try and make sure that your working hours are within school hours, so you do still just do the school hours, so you don't need any extra support with childcare?
In September, Maggie's going to start with a childminder. So they'll pick her up from school just till 5. But part of that is I was trying to get work-life balance back even. So I was finding that as much as I was enjoying picking Maggie up and having that time with her, I was either trying to do bits of work with her here or working all evening. And I realised that for the balance to be right, it has to work for all of us.
Hours,
and I tend to work with clients between 4 and 5 hours a session. Minimum is 3. It's not really worth going in for less than 3. And I kind of say maximum is 5, 6, because by that time you're tired. I mean, I could keep going, but I'm nuts. But most of my clients are ready to stop at that point. So 5 hours is kind of, you know, roughly my maximum. If I was doing an unpack of a big house, you know, obviously I'd work slightly longer, and I'm lucky I've got family support. But yeah, so for that work-life balance, to make sure I wasn't working, because in busy times I'd be physically working in the day and then working every evening. So it was trying to get that balance back, because you know, it's not healthy to push yourself to those limits.
I think we can all do it in short snippets, but it's not practical long term, because you will end up with overwhelm and burnout, which what you spoke about in the video last week. And lots of people related to it. You know, it was, you know, I've had so many messages even through today, people saying that they've gone back and watched the video because we all experience overwhelm. We just take on way too much, and sometimes we just need to, like you say, think practically and think this is not going to be sustainable long term. So well done for identifying it and putting a plan in place.
Well, it's also losing that mummy guilt, you know, and it's that thing, you know, you feel like you've got to be seen, to be doing it all and proving it all, you know, and actually, you know, to give my daughter the best of me, I need to be okay, and it's realising that, and actually that's quite difficult, because you know, I don't think that any of us are selfish, but I think you can feel a bit like you are being if you do that. But I'm learning that actually for us all to be better and happier, that works really well. So we'll trial it, you know, it's like anything. So she's starting in September, so then I will have that scope hopefully to do the slightly longer days there.
So how do you do anything in particular to keep yourself motivated? Because it must be quite difficult when you've got your own house to look after to also then, as a job, go in and organise other people's homes. Is there?
I mean, because my home is quite organised, I find it quite easy to keep on top of, and I have routines that, you know, I do kind of every day.
Yeah.
When I say every day, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think we all need a bit of a break from routine at a weekend, you know, and that's fine. But my Monday to Friday routine is quite robust, you know, in the sense of, we know what we're doing. So when Maggie comes in from school, she'll take her shoes off at the bottom of the stairs, hang her coat, she can't reach the cupboard, but she puts it by the door, you know, and puts her lunchbox by the sink. Yeah. And that's her little routine. Yeah. And then I kind of follow around, hanging up her coat, emptying her lunchbox, you know, and we do all that before we sit down and do whatever we're going to do, or, you know. Yeah. You know, and sometimes she's tired on a Friday, she'll go, Mummy, I can't leave my lunchbox. And I'm like, that's all right, I'll do it, you know. Yeah. She's only 4. But I think it's really important to get the children involved in doing that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But what keeps me motivated is I love, more than anything, the satisfaction that my clients feel. They're like, a weight is being lifted off the shoulder, and each visit I go, I see it getting less and less and less this weight. And, you know, some of them will hug me at the end because they'll be like, I can't believe it. Yeah. You know, I can't believe, they can't believe how much this stuff they had they didn't use, which is always really interesting. You know, and often one of the challenges I face is, not always, but sometimes the men aren't on board because they can't understand what I do. They're like, what, declutterer? And what I love is when a husband comes in, or a partner, or somebody comes in and goes, I can't believe how much you've changed my life, because my wife is calmer, happier, more organised, the days are running better, and I'm going, that's why I like what I do, because everybody's happier then. You know, so I think that's what keeps me motivated. You know.
So have you got any top tips for us on simple things that we can do to help to declutter or become organised?
Well, you know, to start decluttering, the first thing I would do is start thinking about what you can let go of easily. So, I don't know, is your family complete? But are you still storing all those baby things in the attic? Or,
just in case.
Just in case, you know, or accepting who you are. You know, you don't need to keep 3 different sizes in your wardrobe, or, you know, even if you did lose that weight that you were hoping to lose, wouldn't it be nice to go out and treat yourself to some new things? Do you know? So why do you want to hold on to these things for so long? And just looking at the things you can easily let go of. You know, and I'd say the first thing to do is kind of just look around you at the things that you don't use, look at the things that you know, all those things that you thought would make your life so much quicker and easier and simpler, and out the back of the kitchen cupboards.
I'm very good for those things. I just don't buy them.
No, I don't either.
But my husband is an absolute sucker for it. So this is a message I'm going to show him. This is a message to him. We don't need it, do we? We can get rid of these things. You don't have to have every new gadget on the market just in case.
No.
Brilliant.
And I think the thing is, so if you're using something, of course it's brilliant. Yeah. And even if you only use it, so I know people who've got a slow cooker which they use a lot in the winter, and they go, I don't use it in the summer. Yeah, but you use it in the winter, so that's valuable. Yeah. You know, but do you need a slow cooker and a pressure cooker? And then I'm like, what's the difference? You know, I'll try. And then they're going, and this pressure cooker might make one really good meal. I'm like, how did you have that meal? You know, it's trying to break it down, isn't it? Yeah. You know, if people, when I'm working with clients, if they're struggling to let go of something, I always say to them, don't let it go yet.
Yeah, not yet.
And I will, usually, it's very rare that by the next 2 or 3 sessions, I haven't taken that to a charity shop. Because what I don't want to do is take something and have them regret it.
I can imagine once they see the benefit of everything else taking shape, suddenly that thing becomes less important and it is just a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, there's brilliant books out there. I mean, Marie Kondo's just brought, you know, our business to life. And she's amazing, but her way of doing things might not suit everybody. Yeah. So I think it's good to try, you know, if you're going to do it yourself, try and read or look at many different ways of doing it. Yeah. Don't feel bad if you can't do it one way. Yeah. That's fine, because I'm a big believer in I work very differently. I'll try and gauge for my client what would work for them, the pace that would work for them. Yeah. You know, and that's what I want to do. And, you know, it is amazing what you get rid of. But I'd start, you know, if you want to start with a drawer.
Okay.
Start with a drawer. pick a drawer and just get rid of the things. So it might be, I don't know, I keep my long sleeve t-shirts and vest tops all in one drawer, and my vest tops are in one line, and my
do you roll or do you fold?
So I used to roll, and rolling's great. But then I learned this new way of folding, which is really good, and they stand like that. And it's absolutely brilliant. So I now do it like that. But you have to figure out which way works for you, because putting laundry away is probably one of the biggest things all of my clients hate doing. So it's looking at the systems that work for you. So it might be, you know, if it's too much effort to fold, and you can teach your children who are 6 and 7 to roll, get them to roll it and put their own away. You know, I believe everybody that lives in the house should have a role to help keep this house running smoothly.
We do. All of my girls in our house have their own jobs, whether it be to take the recycling out, one of them unloads the dishwasher, the other one packs toys away, so they all kind of have their little responsibilities, because I think that's good for them. We have a bit of a wardrobe situation in our house, actually, that I need to look at some systems for, because my 2 youngest children share a wardrobe. So everything gets packed away neatly in there, and then within a day, it's like a big pile of clothes everywhere. And obviously they blame each other. So I need to try and find some systems and some things to put them in, because they're kind of open shelves, to see if I can encourage them to just take one thing out without disrupting a whole pile of clothes.
There is some things that you can buy. I've never used them, but I've seen them advertised, where you put your t-shirts on so you can lift up the 2 above and get that one out and the rest fold down. Because I suppose what's tricky about that is if they're in something and covered, they've got to lift everything out to get it in.
They don't, they go like that, and then everything goes
right. So it is, and in fairness to them, although it's a nightmare for you, in fairness to them, it is really tricky to get it out, which is why I have all my things in a drawer, because then you can see it all and you can take out the one thing that you need. So I don't know if you could get a kind of something that they could pull out and see it all folded in. Because, I mean, I don't know if these t-shirt things work, I've just seen them advertised. But it might be that, like a basket they could lift out, pull out, and if you rolled or
and have them
in a line, they'd be able to see them. So it is just trial and error. You know, some things work really well for me, and some things maybe don't. And I always say to clients, try it. You know, people think drawer dividers, you know, are some of the best things in the world, and some of them go, I never thought of that. And it's so
quite simple, but
if anything, your pants and your socks aren't getting messed up. It doesn't matter what they're like in the side their thing. At least they're not messed up. So
you might have inspired me. It is a project over the summer to tackle this wardrobe in particular, so I'll let you know how it goes. If not, I'm going to get you in. Come and do it. Brilliant. So what are your future plans and goals for the business?
So my next step is I've got the pilot of a course, a workshop, 1-day workshop starting. So basically trying to just, I think it must be quite hard to invite somebody into your house that you've never met. I find for some of my clients, they feel, at the beginning of the journey, they feel a bit embarrassed. And I'm just always like, it's just like if you were trying to lose weight. It's just, whatever you're trying to do in life, if you need to reach out and get help, get it. You know, I'm not here to judge anybody. You know,
I think everybody, when they go through that kind of cycle, they have to kind of overcome that feeling of guilt first, then you start that fear of being judged, and then be like, right, now we're ready to go.
And like one client said to me, I should be able to do this, and I'm like, why should you? You know, it doesn't matter, you know. And it's just, it's kind of been able to say to people, I'm Joanne, this is Systematic Homes, come and find out what we do, how we do it.
Sounds good.
But on the course, to give everybody the opportunity to be able to like go away with a bit of a plan of action. You know, we're going to look at goal setting, making them realistic and achievable goals, breaking those goals down into tasks, so that when they go away they feel like they can start doing a couple of things themselves, with the knowledge that they've met me, met the girls that work with me, that if they do need help, they're not inviting a total stranger into their house. And it's to talk about the effects of clutter. I mean, it's actually overwhelming when you start looking at some of the statistics around, you know, the percentage of people's wardrobes they wear, the percentage of kids' toys that they actually play with compared to what they've got, how children can feel overwhelmed if they have too many toys.
We have become quite materialistic, haven't we? We feel like we have to have everything in our homes, and, you know, huge amounts like of toys and clothes to actually feel valued and to feel like we're important.
And then you don't let go of them because you spend a lot of money on them. And actually, would you be any poorer if you let go of them?
No.
If you're never wearing it, what benefit is it to you? You know, and it's those kind of things. I mean, what I love to do is I love to make real changes, you know, thinking about shopping, you know, thinking about planning your food menus. So, and when I'm talking about planning, I'm not saying that on Monday you have to have this. Just having a rough guide for your week of the 5 meals you're going to have.
Yeah.
You know, rough guide, pick a couple of easy ones for those busy days. Yeah. Family favourite. You've only got 2 more to think of then, you know. And having those things takes that pressure off your head. It means you're not shopping. You haven't got 2 or 3 times a week and having lots of waste.
Yeah.
You know, pausing before you buy stuff that you know that you, do you need it?
Do you need it? Yeah.
Do you know, and those kind of things. And it's kind of thinking like that about the big changes going forward, and that's what I'm hoping the course will do. So it's a 4-hour workshop, and I'm hoping to kind of talk about just all the different how clutter can actually make your brain feel completely overwhelmed, and actually it can make you less productive, it can stop you sleeping. You know, if you don't have a relaxing place to go to when you're going to bed at night, if you've got stuff around you, work, stuff like that, that stuff's all going around in your head. So, you know, it's just trying to explain some of that. Did you know that 68% of couples argue twice a week about clutter?
That doesn't surprise me at all. That really doesn't surprise me.
And I'm like, is that not just a good enough reason? Think the less arguments you'd have.
I can totally relate to kind of feeling less stress if there's no clutter around, because for example, when we moved into our current house, we'd moved from a house that had 2 separate downstairs rooms into a house that had 1 open plan, which meant the children's toys were in the sitting room, and I just couldn't bear it. You know, of an evening it would actually make me feel really, really unsettled, couldn't cope. No matter how tidy and organised they were, it felt like a toy room, and it didn't feel like a relaxing space. So we ended up putting a conservatory on just because I was like, I need somewhere class as a toy room, as the kids' room to play. So at the end of the night, I can just shut everything away and have a grown-up space with no toys in it.
I know, it is really difficult to kind of get that balance right in family life, because you know you need that headspace of not thinking all the time about all the things you've got to do. You know, life's really busy.
And I found that when the children's toys and things were in the sitting room, I would just potter all evening, tidying things up and moving things around, and I thought, no, this needs to go. I need to draw the line somewhere. So
it's really important to have those boundaries that make, you know, however that works. You know, for some people, you know, the toys don't bother them, and that's fine. But it might be that they don't like having the workstation in the living room, you know, because then all they're thinking about is work and they're trying to check. You know, it's a bit like our phones.
So me. I've got toys for my workstation. So the course that you're doing, is that in the Hitchin area you're doing?
Yes. So I'm doing a pilot for the course in September. We're Catholic, so I attend the Catholic Church, and so that I can offer the pilot really, really, really cheaply. They've agreed to give me the space for free for my pilot. They've been really supportive for my business. You know, as in it's on the website. You know, so
super.
Yeah, it's lovely having the support around you. You know, we're lucky in Hitchin. We do have lots of good community support, don't we? And I found that really beneficial for my business and setting it up, is just having that support network, those people who talk about me and my business and stuff like that.
Definitely, I'm exactly the same. You know, certainly, obviously, on the photography side of my business, I rely pretty much now on referrals, because I've got to the stage where, like I say, I've worked with so many people in the Hitchin area that I get recommended all the time. So it is nice. I think they're very, you know, they've got lots of good businesses in the area that are really, really keen on supporting each other, which I think is lovely. Yeah, no, we're really lucky. So yeah, I've nearly got all the flyers and advertisements ready to get going. But yeah, so hopefully that will be good. And if there's good feedback, well, I'm hoping there'll be good feedback. My hope is to maybe run another one before Christmas. And then, you know, depending on how it moves forward, you know, I will probably keep them the first few local to like Hitchin, Stevenage, Letchworth, and then see from there. So it sounds like you've got a great plan looking forward.
I mean, I still want to be doing all the physical stuff as well, but you know, it's trying to make sure that the opportunity to find out about this journey is open to as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
Fab. Now, the only thing I wanted to ask you really is if there was any of our lovely mums out there on the Mumlife page that are also considering maybe starting their own business, whether it be similar to yours or something completely different, is there any advice that you would offer them?
I would definitely say network. So when I set my business up, I launched my website and sat back. And funny enough, it was quite quiet. And then I joined Women in Business first and foremost, which was nerve-wracking because what I hadn't realised I had to get up and stand for 60 seconds and talk about myself and my business.
Yeah, doesn't it feel like the longest 60 seconds of your life?
And it did, and I felt like everyone was looking at me like they're real businesswomen and I'm a fraud and they know it. But they're lovely, and it was a really nurturing group. And actually, not only have I networked and got work and found out information, I've learned so much and had so much support. And I think that is so vital. And once a month, I go for lunch and I talk to people about my business, their business, family life, things happening in Hitchin, you know, and I have people I can tap into to go, what do I do about this? Or does anybody know about this? And when GDPR was going mad, you know, there was training on it, and that was free.
Brilliant.
So I've loved being part of them. But there's also ones like Cuppa and Connect. These are local to Hitchin and Stevenage, which is very good. On social media, I would definitely get yourself a nice presence on social media. I think I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Yep, same here.
So I think social media is brilliant. I think it's really good. I think it's really good for talking and getting things out there. But I also then feel like you're stuck to having to respond, and it's putting those own boundaries in for yourself. You know,
definitely. And make sure you've got a good mixture of, you know, doing social media and also doing stuff real life, face to face, actually being a person rather than just hidden behind a phone or
I would definitely say go for it. Whatever your business idea is, however unique, or you know, if it's something, go for it, because there are many great pleasures to working for yourself. It is hard. You know, it's hard when things go quiet and you think you get a little panicked. You know, it's hard when you're trying to juggle business, actually doing the work, family life, you know, those kind of things. But then the great thing is my little girl was poorly, and I needed to be off work with her, and I just emailed my clients, who were all lovely, let them all know, we booked dates in, and I got to chill back. My daughter had chicken pox. I got to chill back and lie with her for a week, rubbing her back so she didn't itch, you know, and just keeping her cool and nice. And it's that element of not, you know, obviously I felt bad for my clients because I needed to change the dates, but nobody minded at all. I just told them the situation, and it's not suddenly feeling like, so the work had to change, but I wasn't suddenly putting my work onto somebody else. And sometimes when, you know, you work for a company, you're feeling like, oh, A or B's got to pick up the work.
Like you've been a burden, don't you?
You know,
really let people down.
And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, you know, depending on what roles and jobs you have, companies can make you feel like you can't be off, which is completely wrong. You know, and that was great that I could just let them all know, make some changes and plans, organise it. They were all happy with the outcome. Everybody still got all the hours that you know they were supposed to have. And I got to spend those 4 days with my little girl, making sure she was alright, because I wouldn't want to leave her with somebody else and she's got chicken pox, you know. So I would definitely say do lots of research. Find out if there's other people that do something similar. Is there an association? Is there a group? Is there something? Because that's a brilliant way of learning. And I would definitely talk to people. You know, just, you know, you set up your group and I wanted to join, and then we met on the Instagram workshop, and suddenly you're talking to people, and that's how you move forward.
Absolutely. I think it's all about connecting, isn't it? Connecting with other people and, you know, learning what they do and then moving on from there. Yeah,
definitely.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for joining in today. I think there's a few people out there that were quite keen to hear about the whole decluttering thing, and I'll definitely put a link on again for your page, because I think that, you know,
and if people have got questions, I don't mind them just asking away. You know, it's not a problem. I'm happy to answer anything that they, you know, want to find out about, even if it's just ideas for going forward or how I set goals. You know,
that's wonderful. Well, thank you. No problem. And I'll speak to you guys out there soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.